So we're studying from 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, universal form or the Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. And last week we discussed, I think, 49 through 51, where after seeing the Vishwarupa or the universal form, Arjun was very perturbed, and then he requested that he wanted to see the four-handed Chaturbhuja Narayana form. And then Krishna showed him this Chaturbhuja Narayan form. And then eventually he again last showed him two-armed Shyam form, the regular Krishna form, which he was with Arjuna. And when Arjuna saw this original form of two-handed form, so here it is mentioned that Krishna, the original form of the supreme absolute truth is two-handed form. It is not the other way around. And so he then said that, "Oh Janardhan, seeing this human-like form so very beautiful, now I am composed in my mind and I am restored to my original nature." So he was pacified then. Otherwise, he was very disturbed seeing this whole ghastly form of the uh, Supreme Personality, Vishwarup Darshan. And then we see last few verses of what Krishna is saying to Arjun then. And today we are going to read from text 52. So let's repeat. śrī-bhagavān uvāca.
Vacha.
su-durdarśamidam rūpaṁ.
su-durdarśamidam
rūpaṁ
dṛṣṭavānasi yamam.
dṛṣṭavān yamam
devā apyasya rūpasya.
devā apyasya rūpasya
nityaṁ darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ.
nityaṁ darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ.
Okay. Sunil Prabhu, you want to lead once and then read the.
So, śrī-bhagavān uvāca
śrī-bhagavān
Vacha.
su-durdarśamidam rūpaṁ
su-durdarśamidam rūpaṁ.
dṛṣṭavānasi yamam
dṛṣṭavānasi yamam.
devā apyasya rūpasya
devā apyasya rūpasya.
Vacha.
nityaṁ darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ.
nityaṁ darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ. Okay. Continue with synonyms. Sunil Prabhu, you can continue with synonyms and the translation.
śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, su-durdarśanam, very difficult to see. idaṁ, this. rūpaṁ, form. dṛṣṭavānasi, as you have seen. yathā, which. mama, of mine. devā, the demigods. api, also. asya, this. rūpasya, form. nityaṁ, eternally. darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ, aspiring to see. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjun, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear." Purport. In the 48th verse of this chapter, Lord Krishna concluded revealing his universal form and informed Arjuna that this form is not possible to be seen by so many pious activities, sacrifices, etc. Now here the word su-durdarśanam is used, indicating that Krishna's two-handed form is still more confidential. One may be able to see the universal form of Krishna by adding a little tinge of devotional service to various activities like penances, Vedic study, and philosophical speculation. It may be possible, but without a tinge of bhakti, one cannot see that has already been explained. Still, beyond that universal form, the form of Krishna with two hands is still more difficult to see, even for demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. They desire to see him, and we have evidence in the Srimad Bhagavatam that when he was supposed to be in the womb of his mother Devaki, all the demigods from heaven came to see the marvel of Krishna, and they offered nice prayers to the Lord. Although he was not at that time visible to them, they waited to see him. A foolish person may deride him, thinking him an ordinary person, and may offer respect not to him but to impersonal something within him. But these are all nonsensical postures. Krishna, in his two-armed form, is actually desired to be seen by demigods like Brahma and Shiva. In Bhagavad Gita 9.11, it is also confirmed, अवजानन्ति मम काय म्हण अवजानन्ति मा
मानुषं तनुमाश्रितं
मानुषं तन
माश्रितं.
He is not visible to the foolish persons who deride him. Krishna's body, as confirmed by Brahma Samhita and confirmed by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita, is completely spiritual and full of bliss and eternality. His body is never like a material body, but for some who make a study of Krishna by reading Bhagavad Gita or similar Vedic scriptures, Krishna is a problem. For one, using a material process, Krishna is considered to be a great historical personality and very learned philosopher. But he is an ordinary man, and even though he was so powerful, he had to accept a material body. Ultimately, they think that the absolute truth is impersonal. Therefore, they think that from his impersonal feature, he assumed a personal feature attached to material nature. This is a materialistic calculation of the Supreme Lord. Another calculation is speculative. Those who are in search of knowledge also speculate on Krishna and consider him to be less important than the universal form of the Supreme. Thus, thus, some think that the universal form of Krishna, which was manifested to Arjuna, is more important than his personal form. According to them, the personal form of the Supreme is something imaginary. They believe that in the ultimate issue, the absolute truth is not a person, but the transcendental process is described in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. To hear from Krishna from authorities, that is the actual Vedic process. And those who are actually in the Vedic line hear about Krishna from authority, and by repeated hearing about him, Krishna becomes dear. As we have several times discussed, Krishna is covered by his Yoga Maya potency. He is not to be seen or revealed to anyone and everyone. Only by one to whom he reveals himself can be seen. This is confirmed in the Vedic literature. For one, for one who is a surrendered soul, the absolute truth can actually be understood. The transcendentalist, by continuous Krishna consciousness and by devotional service to Krishna, can have his spiritual eyes open and can see Krishna by revelation. Such a revelation is not possible even for the demigods. Therefore, it is difficult even for the demigods to understand Krishna, and the advanced demigods are always in hope of seeing Krishna in his two-handed form. The conclusion is that although to see the universal form of Krishna is very, very difficult and not possible for anyone and everyone, it is still more difficult to understand his personal form as Shama Sundar.
Thank you so much for very beautiful purport. There are lots of things. 10 of 5. What we can do is we can read one more verse and then, or actually, let's discuss this. So here, what Krishna is saying after Arjuna is pacified, and then he says that, oh, now I am seeing this two-handed form, and now I am pacified, and this is beautiful form. So Krishna is saying, su-durdarśam idaṁ rūpaṁ dṛṣṭavān mama. Devā api asya rūpasya nityaṁ darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ. That this form, what you are seeing, it is very difficult. It is very beautiful, but it is very difficult even to the devatas. Forget about human beings or others. Even for devatas like Brahma and Shiva, they are always aspiring to see this form. Nitya darshana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ. Even they have akanksha of seeing this form many times, and even they cannot see this form. This form cannot be seen by just even by devatas. So here in the previous 48th verse, Prabhupada is quoting here, when Krishna was showing the universal form, he says, Arjuna, that not by study of the Vedas or by penance, by tapa or by Veda adhyan, that he can be seen that in that form. And even this form, forget about that, maybe one time by little bit of devotion somebody can see, but the two-handed Shama Sundar form cannot be seen. It is very, very difficult unless some has devotion, loving devotion to Krishna. And that's what we will hear in the next few verses. It is here. So the two-handed form is still more confidential than the Vishwarup. The Vishwarup, maybe some sages can see this, but this two-handed form is very, very confidential. So one may not be able to see this. He says that the universal form, by adding little tinge of devotional service, can be seen by activities like penances or tapa, or Vedic study, Veda adhyan, or philosophical speculation or jnana. But this form cannot be seen by even those studies. Still beyond this form, it is very difficult. And there are evidences in the scriptures like śrī-bhagavān or other. So here Prabhupada quotes that when Krishna was in the womb of Mother Devaki, all the devatas came around Mathura, in near that place where Krishna is about to appear. And they were offering very beautiful prayers. So in the, I think, 3rd chapter of the 10th canto of śrī-bhagavān, these nice prayers are there before Krishna appeared. They couldn't even see Krishna, but just knowing that Krishna is going to appear, all the devatas come there and then they offer prayers to this. So this is very beautiful pastime. And then even demigods like Lord Brahma and Shiva, not even Lord Brahma and Shiva, even Mahavishnu is always aspiring to see Krishna's two-handed form. And there are a few very nice pastimes or leelas in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I can probably say a couple of them. Once Lord Shiva, who is considered as Vaishnava, the greatest Vaishnava, Vaishnava-ānām yathā Shambhu. So among all the Vaishnavas, Shambhu or Lord Shiva is considered to be one of the greatest Vaishnavas. And he's always, always, always thinking and chanting about Lord in the different forms. So Lord Shiva wanted to get darshan of his two-handed form as a young boy, a baby Krishna. But it was very difficult for him. So what he did is he took a form of an ascetic or sadhu, and he went to Nandagam in the Nanda Maharaja's house. And he knocked on the door, and then when Yashoda Mata came, he was asking. He stood before her and he was asking from some bhiksha, and he was expecting that he would be able to see Krishna there. He would be able to get darshan of Lord Shri Krishna in that young form, because that is so beautiful, young age. And Mother Yashoda seeing this form, and Lord Shiva is very his form is very not nice. So she didn't want Lord Krishna because she was always protective of Krishna, right? In the Vatsalya Bhav. So her devotion is in Vatsalya Rasa, parental rasa. So she wanted to protect Krishna because she thought by seeing this sadhu who is very not very well maintained jata on his head and all his Trishul and Damru and everything, that form, she thought that baby Krishna will be afraid to see this. So she was protecting protecting Krishna so that he won't see this. So she didn't bring him. And then she asked him, Lord Shiva, to go. You will scare my baby. And Lord Shiva, unfortunately, didn't have any choice but to leave. And then Krishna realized his mind that, oh, one of my greatest devotees here, and he wanted to get my darshan. So he started crying. And then eventually she called the sadhu or Lord Shiva in that sadhu's form, and then Shiva got darshan of Lord Sri Krishna. So even the devatas are very, very eager to get darshan of two-handed form of Krishna. And there is another pastime when, after the war and everything happened, when Krishna was in Dwarka, and in Dwarka, King Ugrasen was ruling because Kamsa was already killed, and Ugrasen, who was his father, Krishna established Ugrasen as as the king, and then everything was fine. And in Vedic culture, it is considered that if there is any calamity happens on the praja or any citizen, that means the king is not good, because the citizens are suffering because the kshatriyas are not doing their own duty properly. So in Dwarika, there was one Brahman. Unfortunately, whenever he had a child, the child was immediately gone. They lost their child. The child was always dying. So he will always, and he was so fed up with that he, when his son died, he got the baby and then brought in the what do you call, in the assembly, and then in front of king he said, "Oh king, you are not ruling well, that's why my baby is dying. Why would the baby, as soon as he's taking birth, would die?" And then he would come every time, and it was not very nice for the King Ugrasen didn't know what to do. Once Arjun was there, and then he saw this is not so good, because this happened repeatedly. And Arjun then told the Brahmana that I will protect your child next time. And then he said that if I am not able to protect, I will enter in the holy fire and then give up my life. That's my word. So the Brahman was happy. And then when next time the Brahmana's wife was pregnant and she was about to give birth to a baby, so Arjun created full shell with his arrows around their house and everything, and that he was thinking nothing can take this baby, and even if Yamraj takes it, I'll go and get this baby. So that baby, as soon as it is born, it vanished. And Arjun was looking everywhere and he was astonished. Where did it go? So, and with his capacity, then Arjun went to Yamaloka. In Yamapuri, it was not there. And then he went to all the 14 different planetary systems and he couldn't find the baby. And then he said, oh, I gave my word to that Brahmana, I could not protect this baby. So then he was ready to he set up a fire and he was ready to give his life in the fire as he had promised to the Brahmana. Then I could not protect your child. And then Krishna appeared there and Krishna said, let's go and get the children of Brahmana. And then Krishna, on his chariot, took Arjuna, and then they went all the way, crossing all the layers of the universe. There are 7 layers of Brahma universe. So it is very beautiful description that there are multiple layers, and each layer is 10 times the bigger of the previous layer. And they went beyond the universe. And in places where there was like no light, the Sudarshan Chakra in front of the chariot was directing them. And they went all the way to the Karana Ocean. So in the Karana Ocean, then, where Lord Mahavishnu is resting, so they went there. And Lord Krishna and Arjuna went there, and Lord Mahavishnu welcomed them very opulently. And then Lord Krishna then requested that you are stealing the children of the Brahmana, please return those back. And Mahavishnu happily gave them these children. And then Arjuna was very surprised. Why would Mahavishnu steal the children? And then Mahavishnu said that I just wanted to see this beautiful form of Krishna, and I knew Krishna would come here. So I was taking this opportunity to see this form of Krishna. And you both are none other than Naranarayan Rishi. You have also appeared as Naranarayan Rishi. So I wanted to take your darshan. That's why I was stealing this. So this pastime is there in the, I think, 89th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very beautiful. So you see, even Mahavishnu is always aspiring to see the form of Krishna, the two-handed form, original form of Krishna. So these are different, and the devatas also, whenever they are praying, particularly when they are in trouble and they go to the Kshirodak ocean and pray to the Lord, they generally don't get even darshan of Vishnu. They just hear the message from Vishnu and then they follow those instructions. So to get darshan of Krishna, particularly in a Krishna form, is very, 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 very difficult. And that's what Krishna is saying here. That even devā api asya rūpasya, even the devā api, even devatas, asya rūpasya, the roop what you are seeing now in a two-handed form, the Shama Sundar roop with flute and holding flute and peacock feather on his head. This form is very, very rare to be seen, and even the devatas are always aspiring, darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ. They are always aspiring to see this form. So, but here then Prabhupada mentions that he quotes the verse from 9th chapter, 11th verse, avajananti mām mūಢāṃ manushim tanumāśritam param bhāvam ajanantum mama bhuta maheshwaram. That avajananti, they deride me. Whom? This Mudha, the fools and rascals in this material world. They think that Krishna was just a historic person. Krishna is just like a human being. So they deride me when I come in my original human-like form here. Because they do not know my original nature. And that's what Krishna says. And because he is not visible to foolish. And even actually, he quotes Brahma Samhita. In Brahma Samhita, there are so many prayers Brahmaji says where he narrates the beautiful form of Krishna. Yam Shama Sundaram Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukal Parukshat. He even narrates the description of the Goloka Vrindavan. And then Venum Konantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Barahavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam. Venu, the person who, Krishna, you are holding a flute. Venu, Vanantan. Arvinda Dalaya Taksham, your eyes are like a lotus. Arvinda. Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam. And then you have a peacock feather on your head, and then your form, your complexion is like a rain cloud dark rain cloud, and that beautiful form, yam shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam. And then your form is that shama sundar rupa. So there are few verses in Brahma Samhita, they are very beautiful. But Prabhupada then writes here that generally for the people who are just on the path of study of the Vedas for mental speculation, for them, Krishna is obstacle because they don't want to accept a Supreme Lord as a person or the Supreme Absolute Truth, Param Satya, as a person, because they think their conception of a person is like their own, one who has a material body. But Krishna's body is not like us. It is called Satchidananda Vigraha, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, and Ananda means full of bliss. Our material body is exactly opposite. Ours is Asat, which is continuously decaying and it is changing, and it will vanish one day. So that's why it is Asat, it is not eternal. Achit means it's full of ignorance. And that's why we are always seeking for knowledge. But Krishna is the source of knowledge. And Nirananda, we are always in some or other kind of miseries. And that's why we are looking for Ananda, because that is our nature. That is our real, true nature. Nature of the soul is to be happy. And that's why we want to be happy, but we don't know how we can be happy. And that's why we are trying to get happiness in different ways. But Krishna's body is not like that. And when he comes, it doesn't matter even when he appears in the material world, he comes with his own accord in his original form. And that's why to learn about Krishna, we have to learn the Vedic literature in the Guru Shishya Parampara. And that's what Prabhupada says, that in the 4th chapter, the process is mentioned that evaṁ parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidho. That this knowledge has to be received from parampara, which started from Krishna himself. Krishna is Adi Guru. He is the original Guru. And from Krishna to Balram, and then he said that sun god, first he gave this knowledge millions of years ago to sun god Vivaswan. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavān aham avyam. Vivaswan manave praha, and Vivaswan gave it to his son Manu. Manu Ikshvakave Bravit, and Manu gave it to his son Ikshvaku, in whose dynasty Lord Ramchandra appeared. Evaṁ parampara praptam, and this is how this knowledge has to be received. And that's why when we receive this knowledge in the Guru Shishya Parampara, then we can understand Krishna. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand Krishna, because even the so-called scholars in the Sanskrit and so-called scholars in the Vedas, they also deride Krishna, and they think that Krishna has to take material form to come in this material world. But if Krishna has to take material form, then what kind of God he is? And then Prabhupada says here that Krishna he does not reveal him to others. In the 7th chapter, there is very beautiful verse, I think 25th or so, where Krishna says, nāhaṁ prakāsha sarvasya yoga maya samāvritaha, that I am not revealed to everyone. I am covered for them by my potency called yoga maya. Nāhaṁ prakāsha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. Mūಢo yam nābhijanati. Mūಢa means murkha. All these fools, they don't know me. They cannot understand me. Mam ajam avyayam. That I am unborn, ajam, and avyayam, imperishable. So that is Krishna. And that's this form of two-handed Krishna that is standing in front of Arjuna. And then he says that nobody can, by just any ways, can see this form, because this form is very, very rare to see. Even the devatas are always looking to see this form. We can read quickly one. This is a short purport and continuation that, and then we will stop and get some reflections. Okay. We have Gandhali Mataji, you want to lead the verse, please?
नाही ती गेली थोड्या वेळाने येईल.
Okay. So let me lead and then Rajesh Prabhu can read. Nāhaṁ vedair na tapasā
nāhaṁ vedair na tapasā
न दानेन चेज्जया
na dānena cejyayā
cejyayā
शक्यम् एवं विधो द्रष्टुम्
shakyam
śakya
evaṁ-vidho drāṣṭuṁ
दृष्टवानसि मां यथा
dṛṣṭavān
dṛṣṭavān मां yathā.
Rajesh Prabhu, you want to lead and read?
nāhaṁ vedair na tapasā
Maham
Vedair
na tapasā
dānena na cejyayā
न दानेन चेच्छया
śakya evaṁ-vidho drāṣṭuṁ
शक्य एवं विधो
vidho drāṣṭuṁ
dṛṣṭavānasi māṁ yathā
दृष्टवान्
dṛṣṭavān मां yathā.
Yes, read the synonyms.
Na means never, aham means I, vedai by study of the Vedas, na never, tapasa by serious penances, na means never, dānena by charity, na never, cha also,
Cejyayā
cejyayā by worship,
shakya.
śakya is it possible, evaṁ-vidho like this, dṛṣṭuṁ to see, dṛṣṭavān seeing, asya you are, māṁ me yathā as. Translation: the form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. So, purport: Krishna first appeared before his parents Devaki and Vasudeva in a four-handed form, and then he transformed himself into the two-handed form. This mystery is very difficult to understand for those who are atheists or who are devoid of devotional service. For scholars who have simply studied Vedic literature by way of grammatical knowledge or mere academic qualifications, Krishna is not possible to understand, nor is he to be understood by persons who officially go to the temple to offer worship. They make their visit, but they cannot understand Krishna as he is. Can be understood only through the path of devotional services, as explained by Krishna himself in the next verse.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So Krishna says that this form we read in the previous verse, which is even devatas are always aspiring to see that form, but he says that na aham vedair na tapasa, not by Vedic studies, not by tapa, na dānena, or by charity, giving charity, na cha ijjaya, or by any worship. Shakyam evaṁ-vidho drashtum dṛṣṭavānasi māṁ yathā. This form, what you are saying, not by any of this process one can see this form. So this is very difficult, very rare to see this form. And that's why even the devatas who are considered as higher or elevated personalities in this material world, even they cannot see this form by any of these means. And Prabhupada then quotes here that the appearance of Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is very beautifully explained that when Krishna appeared in front of Devaki and Vasudeva, he was fully dressed all with ornaments and crown and Shankha Chakra Gada Padma in a Narayan form, four-handed Narayan form. That's how he appeared. But then Both Vasudeva and Devaki offered prayers, and then Devaki requested him to change in the baby form, and that's how he transformed into a two-handed form. And this is because we think that Krishna just took birth like a human, like a baby from mother's womb, but that's not how he appeared even in the prison house where Kamsa had kept Devaki and Vasudeva. So, and that's why it is, because it is mysterious and it cannot be imagined, or it is beyond our conception. People do not accept that, or they don't think that how Krishna can appear like that. He's just like a human being. He may be a historic person who has some little bit greater powers than other human beings, but he is just a human being. That's what they accept this. So it is not by this means one can understand Krishna, but only through the path of devotional service or bhakti yoga, one can understand Krishna as he is himself. And then Krishna, he said in the 4th chapter also, that when he appears Atma Mayaya, by his own supreme will, by his own potency. So that is the difference between us taking birth versus Krishna appearing here. So when Krishna appears, it is written many years ago, and he comes on his own accord, by his will. And before he comes, there are many devatas already come here. They start preparing for his arrival, and everything is set. But we are forced to take birth because of our karmic reactions. But Krishna comes on his own accord, by his own will. Atma Mayaya. And that's why his appearance, even it is said that even if somebody who knows the mysteries of his appearance and his activities, in truth, tattvata, tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjana. Janma karma cha me divyam. Krishna says in the 4th chapter, Janma karma cha me divyam. My janma and karma are divya, transcendental, not ordinary like any human being. Evam yo vetti tattvataha. And whoever knows this, tattvataha, in truth, tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. For him, he doesn't have to take birth again in this material world. Mameti Arjuna, he comes back to me in the spiritual world. So even knowing Krishna is a better qualifications. Forget about seeing him. So seeing Krishna is very, very difficult. So how can we see this then? And that's what I think we will discuss next week then, next time. So where he says that bhaktya tu ananyaya shakyam aham evaṁ-vidho, that only by bhakti. And what type of? Ananya bhakti. Complete devotion to him only. Only it is shakya, possible, to know me and see me. Aham evam, the way I am. Jnatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantam. So we'll read this next week then. So Hare Krishna. So any thoughts or reflections, Prabhuji's? These last 4 verses of 11th chapter are very, very beautiful, where Krishna says that even the devatas are saying, then he mentions that not by any of these processes that we aspire for, like nāhaṁ vedair, the Veda study, na tapasā, by any austerity or penance, tapa, very severe austerity, dānena, or by charity, giving charity, we can get pious activity, we can earn punya, but not to see Krishna. And cejyayā, even by worship, it is not possible. So there is difference between worship and devotion. Devotion is when you are fully surrendered and you make Krishna as your life and soul, and you do everything for Krishna's service, only for his satisfaction. So not by any of these means Krishna can be seen as he is. And then next 2 verses we'll read next week, and that will finish our chapter 11th. Yes, Prabhuji, any thoughts?
So two-arm form is more difficult or more rare is a new revelation. मला वाटलं की both are equally difficult to see. पण ते नंतर रिव्हिलेशन असं त्याला की टू आर्म फॉर्म is much more rare or
It's
much
more
more sought after,
confidential. Yeah.
more confidential and more sought after.
Yeah. Thank you. So
For me also, I felt ki four-arm form is very, very rare. कारण complete महाभारत and Krishna what we see किंवा जे फोटोज आपण सध्या जे बघतोय ते सगळे all are in two arm form मध्येच आहेत. ते संपूर्ण महाभारत आपण सगळीकडे कृष्ण जे ही रेग्युलर मनुष्य फॉर्म मध्ये मानवाच्या रूपातच आहे. हा मोस्ट कॉमन फॉर्म आहे असं मला वाटत होतं. आणि तोच प्रचलित आहे जो आपण वर्शिप करतो घरात मूर्ती वगैरे जे आहे ते. फोर आर्म फॉर्म इज व्हेरी रेअरली वर्शिप. ओके, दिस इज वन थिंग. सेकंड थिंग, मला थोडं कन्फ्युजन झालं की ती जी स्टोरी जी सांगितलेली होती की ज्यावेळी ते कृष्णाला भेटायला गेले स्वतः अर्जुन, कृष्ण आणि महाविष्णू वॉज देअर स्वर्गामध्ये. मला तर एक थोडं कन्फ्युजन झालं की म्हणजे कृष्ण इज डिफरंट अँड महाविष्णू इज डिफरंट. दे आर वन ओनली, राईट?
yes.
Then why this difference and why Mahavishnu will look for seeing Krishna like that?
So Krishna and Mahavishnu are same and different at the same time. So we have to go back to the whole creation. So Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And from Krishna, then there are many expansions. There are many Vishnus. But Krishna's first expansion is Balaram. And when we say expansion, it is not like when Balaram comes, Krishna goes. Like because our thinking is from our perspective. When I am in the office, that means I am not in home. Right? But that is not true for Krishna. So Vishnu is Krishna in office. But at the same time, Krishna is also home in Vrindavan. So when he expands, the original stays as is. In the Ishopanishad, the invocation prayer is very beautiful, and that mentions how this is. And also in the Brahma Samhita, there is a verse. So in Ishopanishad, it is said, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. The supreme absolute truth is Purna, always. It's complete. And even though there are many complete units coming from that Purna, the original Purna remains complete. It's confusing a little bit. Purnam eva avashishyate. Je avashish rahat te suddha complete hai. So from Krishna, when we say that Vishnu is coming from Krishna, that means is Krishna is not there anymore because Vishnu has come? No, Krishna is still there. So we have to understand that. And in the Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji offers to us something similar. Deepa chireva hi dashantaram antareshu. So he gives an example of Deepa. Means we have one lamp. From that, or just think of a candle. So from that, we light another multiple candles. Does the original candle go away? No, it still is there. And does the other candle give the same light as the original candle? Yes, it still gives the same light. So it is like that. So Krishna is fully potent, and his expansions, particularly Vishnu expansions, are also with similar capacity, but they are separate and they exist simultaneously. And they have their own functions, but Krishna has no work to do. When there is work to do, Krishna expands and that expansion does the work. But Krishna has no work to do.
Okay.
Does it make sense now?
Confusing आहे. परत वाचावं लागेल अजून.
And just to go over expansions, so Krishna's first expansion is Baldev or Balram. Then from Balram comes what there is called Chaturvyuha, the four principal deities. That is Vasudev, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Sankarshan. These four. Then from that Sankarshan comes Narayan, and from that Narayan again comes another Chaturvyuha, second quadruple. And these are all very details in Vedic literature, how God expands. So we don't have those details. And then from that second Sankarshan comes these three Vishnus. So first is Mahavishnu, that's what we were talked about, who is Karanodakshaya Vishnu. So he comes from that second Chaturvyuha Sankarshan. And then from he is in the Karana ocean, which is kind of a border of spiritual world and the material world, a big ocean, and he is in the form of Yoga Nidra. And then when he is breathing, from just by his breathing, all these universes come out when he breathes out. And then he enters in each universe as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, that is the Padmanabha. So he is sleeping on the Shesha, the bed of the Shesha, and from whose navel lotus stem comes, a lotus appears, and on that lotus Brahmaji appears. So he is the second Mahavishnu, second Purusha avatar. And then the third Purusha avatar is Paramatma. So that after that, Brahmaji, with the guidance from that Vishnu, creates this universe, or the universe is created, but he populates it and he engineers it. And then that Vishnu further expands and enters into each and every atom as well as each and every soul's heart. And that we call as Paramatma. So that is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So these are Vishnus. So these Vishnus are the one who are managing whole material creation. But Krishna is separate. He is enjoying in his separate spiritual abode called Goloka Vrindavan. And beyond this material creation, there is also a spiritual Vaikuntha planetary system. And then there are multiple Vaikuntha planets, and in each planet there are different Vishnus with different names, with the different combination of Shankha, Chakra, Kada, Padma in different hands. So this whole creation, actually the material creation we read in the 10th chapter, right? Ekam shena sito jagat, athava bahunaitena kim jnatena tava Arjuna, vishtabhyam idam kritsnam, ekam shena sito jagat. Krishna says that just by my fraction of energy, I am sustaining this whole material creation. What is the need for you to Arjuna to hear about all these opulences and everything which I am describing you? Just by my fraction of energy, I am sustaining this. So that this whole material creation is a very fractional part, and there is vast spiritual creation beyond this. And the example is given in Vedic literature, just like in a city. Take an example of Pune. So Pune is a city, big city, right? Now, there is a prison house in Pune, Yerwada jail. So Yerwada jail is a very small part of whole city, right? So the people who are not following the rules and regulations that are given by the government and are identified as lawbreakers or criminals, they are put into the jail for correction, so that they can correct themselves, and whenever they are ready, they can get out of that and live as a natural, normal citizen, law-abiding citizen. In the same manner, The spiritual world is like Pune city, and the material world is like a prison house. And all the prisoners who are in the material creation, they are the lawbreakers. And because they are lawbreakers, they are punished. They are going through this cycle of rehabilitation and correction in this material world. And when they are corrected properly, then they can free themselves, they can liberate and go back to the spiritual world. So this is how the general concept is. And that's why this material creation is also material, each universe is called as Durga. Durga means fort or jail. Or it also means Durga. Ga means to go and Dur means difficult. So getting out of this material creation is very, very difficult. Durga. And the jailer here, or the controller for this material world, who keeps these all prisoners inside and gives them proper punishment, is called Durga. And that is Durga, Mother Durga, who is the jailer of this universe. And she is the one with her trident is punishing all of us with three different types of miseries: Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Daivik. Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, and Adi Daivik. Self-inflicted, given by others, and natural calamities. So every one of us are going through these different, and that is the trident, Trishul. Three shul. Shul means to poke, and three means three different types. So this is whole kind of general, in brief, the creation works. Krishna and Vishnu are same, at the same time they are different. So when Mahavishnu, he also want to see Krishna. So I hope this makes a little bit sense now.
Yeah. Now I understand. Yes.
But it's very interesting, the whole creation. We as scientists, we are studying, trying to learn this from our mental speculation. But the whole creation, the way it is mentioned in Bhagavatam, is also beautiful, and in other scriptures also, in the other Puranas and Vedic literature. It's very nicely explained. So I think we'll stop here. I was thinking of doing one round of japa today, but we are already late. So please continue with japa. So tomorrow morning I'll go to temple. So thank you very much for your association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.